With all the accomplishment in your insane career, what did it take on hindsight? Was it skills, talent, hard work, luck, or all of them
Yeah.
together? Obviously, we all know success is relative, right? So go ahead.
No, it's relative. I think a lot of times at different phases of my career, the first phase is like just be accepted by the industry. Hope that you get hired, or maybe you start a business that people want to pay for.
Mm.
And so I would definitely say the first phase was just getting accepted, getting that A plus certification so I can be certified,
Mhm.
getting hired at a place so I can be a Linux system administrator. And so I think that first phase of my career was just being accepted by the industry and earn a living just like everyone else. Then eventually, especially when I got into open source, I would say maybe year 5, no more computer store. Now I'm working in regular enterprises and different companies like this. And I realized that the tools we were using, especially when open source became even more prevalent, people got rid of like Solaris and started moving to Linux. People were using tools like Python. And then behind those communities, one thing I realized that when I ran into an issue or a bug, I can just go and contribute the fix. And that's when my calculus kind of changed. I went from hoping to just get a job to being able to say, yo, I can decide how this stuff actually works. I can contribute new features. I can take my ideas and not only just solve the problems that I have at the one company, I can actually contribute them upstream, and then it's something that impacts everyone. And I remember going to my first like Python conference in Atlanta. PyCon had came to Atlanta, and it was a huge conference at that time. And I remember after watching all of the talks and seeing people on the big stage, think about this. I'm looking on this stage, and these are the people behind the tools I'm using. And so I'm super fascinated. Like, wow, I use these tools every day. These are the people behind these tools. And I was just interested in how they think about things, their approach to things, and why they seem to be so ahead of everyone else. And then afterwards, they had a hackathon. At that time, I was contributing to a tool called Virtual Int, so you can have virtual Python environments, and the PyPy infrastructure. And so for me, I was like, yo, I'm contributing these tools because we use them at work. And also, there was a lot of friction in the Python community about what's the best way forward for packaging technologies. And these two things started to win, but they needed contributions. So I started to contribute nights and weekends. And that post-conference hackathon, everyone was there, just being super helpful. Guido van Rossum, the guy that invented Python, was there. All the people managing Python infrastructure. I made a few new friends. They were showing me the ropes, showing me details, and we were just getting things done. I'm like, wow, look at this. People from around the world come one place, common goal, and they just get things done. And when I saw that model, I think every team that I joined after that, to me, there was always a way to get to yes. Either the tools existed, we just needed to find them and we could use them, or the tools didn't exist and we could make them. And that became my persona, can-do attitude. I was never confined anymore by the HR hierarchy. It just didn't matter to me anymore because I already seen what is totally possible. And so once that bit got flipped, that's when I was like, okay, now I'm in the right trajectory. And I think that was kind of the big pivotal turning point in my tech career. And then after that, it set the stage for joining companies like Puppet Labs, joining companies like CoreOS, working at places like Google. But the common thread behind the scenes is this open source work. Anytime I thought that the industry should be going in a certain direction, I can launch a prototype and make it exist, or I can contribute the missing functionality in an existing product. And the last thing I learned was how to communicate those ideas. And so a lot of people get confused. They think, oh, you're speaking at conferences, you don't have technical skills. These things are somewhat related, but unrelated big time. The best thing you can do is probably learn how to leverage the most powerful programming language known to man, which is spoken language.
Mhm.
We give people instructions, we transfer ideas from the past to the future, and people haven't learned how to command that particular tool set. They only rely on the one that allows you to talk to the machine. But the things we build are for
Mhm.
actual people. And when I learned how to talk about technology, when I learned how to talk about technology as it relates to your everyday job, that's the thing that I think people that know me from the Kubernetes community, they see the full package that came together, but that only comes together after like 20 years of all the other stuff being combined.
So It's not being visible as much as doing the work that matters.
When you do the work and you're visible, it creates this weird combination for luck to occur. Now, I'm going to walk back from towards the end of my career. I remember when I started doing a lot of these technical sessions, right? You go to a conference, they have the keynotes, and then they have those smaller sessions, right? The breakout sessions. And everyone would call me, hey, Kelsey, come and do a breakout session. And I was like, yeah, 100%. And I was always there. But eventually one day I said, listen, I'm not doing any more breakout sessions, keynote only. I need to only be on the main stage. No main stage. I'm ready to level up. I think I can do more than just technical demos. And when you communicate that, you're kind of signaling to the world what the new deal is. Mm-hmm. And then once people can see you, they say, hey, whether you believe I'm a keynote speaker or not is beside the point. I'm telling you, I'm only doing keynotes. Now, the other part of that equation is that I have to prepare myself to be able to do keynotes that are worth watching or that are compelling.
True.
But on the other side of that equation, this is where the luck starts, right? You tweet something like that, you don't know who's going to see it. You don't know who's running the conference. And I remember just maybe 4 years ago, there was a Python event in Portland, Oregon. And the same person that I met doing my first meetup at the local Python meetup in Atlanta, he was the chair for PyCon. And guess what? He invited me to give the closing keynote to PyCon, right? And I watched the whole thing come full circle at that time.
Full circle, yeah.
So I just think you definitely have to put yourself out there. You have to be definitely having the skills. But I think when you start to communicate to people where you're going, that's where a lot of the external opportunities have a better way of finding you.